I was 30 years old and at a pool party when this woman sat down next to me, and I remembered being just completely taken by her, just everything, her energy, her aesthetics, her beauty. And it's just this instant connection. I remember having this moment of, well, no, I'm straight, but I am falling head over heels for this woman, and I also want to sleep with her. But this is not what straight women do. And I had this moment of, well, maybe it's just because the connection is so amazing that gender is irrelevant. And that's where I started thinking, well, that must mean that I'm pansexual then, that gender is irrelevant so long as there's a good connection. And eventually that would get me down the path of realizing, well, I can use the terms bi and pan interchangeably, but I feel more comfortable using the term bisexual because I know gender does actually play a role. There's a different flavor to the love. My coming out story was, having this grand revelation, and I am closing in on 30 by the time I'm having this grand revelation and getting ready to tell my friends. And everyone was like, oh yeah, I know. And some of them, especially the ones who were a little later in my life, would be like, wait, I thought that was already known and you just didn't tell us. And so in a lot of ways, I was the last person to know that I was bi. Bisexuality was just not even on the table. You were either gay or straight. So here I was growing up, assuming, of course, I'm straight. And then realizing that thing that I feel like a lot of women who kind of buy into that compulsory heterosexuality, even though they're queer, will do. And I could start seeing that in other people where they talk about gaydar and what have you. And you just get that ping of oh, one of my fellow queer people. I would see the exact same thing I would do, that fear of getting too close to the edge. And being able to finally drop the no, I'm a straight woman was incredibly freeing. I think the fear for me about getting too close to that edge was the realization that I was going to have to reassess my identity, because there was something incredibly neat about saying, I am the straight woman who's going to get married to a man and have her 2.5 kids, and I'm going to follow the social script, and I'm going to ace the This American Life test. And then realizing there's this whole other part of my identity that I have been actively, essentially putting in a closet, keeping in a closet to myself. I know that nervous system was at the helm of the ship, because at the end of the day, what does the nervous system want us to do? It wants to keep us safe. There's nothing more safe than being able to play by the rules that society has given you. And there's nothing scarier than being told, hey, this whole part of you, society really doesn't like. And in fact, you as a whole person, technically you don't exist. In the eyes of the world, you are supposed to be the straight part or the gay part. They don't like the fact that you have both. You're bisexual. There was essentially ego death, because for almost 30 years, I knew who I was. And now I don't. And I have to say goodbye to what I thought I was. But I do believe that if people were allowed to truly figure out what their sexuality is and not be told the default is straight, and if you're one of those weirdo anomalies, I guess you're not straight. If they were told, hey, your sexuality is what it is, and you will figure it out at some point, or maybe at a very young age, but hey, that's your thing. I feel like we'd have a lot fewer straight people in this world. She was my temporary girlfriend, if you will. And I think in some ways it was supposed to happen that way. We were supposed to have this intense connection that started off very romantic and sexual and then shift to platonic, because I don't know if anything else would have really woken me up out of I'm a straight woman. I hesitate giving the full story of that relationship because it does end in this platonic kinship, and that is going to be enough for a lot of people to go, see, nope. She's not bisexual. She is not attracted to women, because they eventually became friends anyways. And to that I say, it is completely taking away from all these other times that I have, fallen deeply in love with a woman, gotten my heart broken, never talked to her again, because, that's just the nature of the beast. No one would look at the marriage that I had to a man, the man that I was married to for 10 plus years, and then we became friends. No one would look at that and go, see, well, she's not actually straight. This thing that happened here, this is proof that she's not actually attracted to men, which in some ways really shows that compulsory heterosexuality, where no one in a million years would ever try to invalidate straightness because this particular relationship with a man either didn't work out or shifted in platonic. But they will be more than happy to figure out anything to invalidate any relationship that I had had with a woman. And it glosses over the complexities of human connection. To this day, he is one of my best friends. And I love both of those situations because it shows love is allowed to say, hey, you know what, it worked in this parameter for a little bit, but now it's more like this. It works better this way. After that first relationship with a woman, it kind of became the Wild West because I was in the dating world, honestly, for the first time since I was 19. And not only was I in the dating world for the first time since I was effectively a teenager, all genders all of a sudden opened up to me. I could date anyone. And there was almost a paralyzing fear to that. I went on dating apps. I said, like, basically any gender, whatever the boxes are, I'm clicking all of them. And realizing that I am out of my element because I know how to date men. I know how to work the male gaze. I know how to respond to male attention. What the hell am I supposed to do here? I would see all of these men who are matching with me, who are sliding into my DMs, who are vying for my attention. And then with women, it's a little more rare. And usually if somebody was going to message, it would be me. I'm not used to this. I'm not used to being the one who pursues. I'm used to being pursued. I'm used to, if anything, having to figure out a way to create distance. Dating men as a woman is kind of like taking a net and putting it into an overpopulated fishing pond. Dating women is like standing outside and really hoping that bird will land on your shoulder. They've done studies on what are the demographics, the makeups for dating apps, and across the board, all of the dating apps, it is between 65 and 75% men, and sometimes as low as 25% women. And on that alone, here are these very, very active men who are on this app, maybe power swiping through, and women who are potentially being a lot more discerning. I would realize that it really was just easier to lean back into what I've known my entire life. And I know I had one situation where it was more of it happened organically. And this is one of the people that I recognized the behaviors in her that I had had. And it is, I look back on it and it's like, I saw the red flags. I chose to move forward anyways. That was a situation where I fell so incredibly head over heels in love with this woman. But she was in a place that I would probably been at if I hadn't had a certain level of healing and introspection and revelations about myself. And one of the things that she still carried was that fear of going to the edge. And hers showed up as some supreme biphobia. I remember the first time she and I made out, the next day I'm getting this text like, didn't we put on such a good show for the boys? It's like, I wasn't putting on a show for the boys. I just wanted to fucking kiss you. And she would do things like that, or she would point to the actual bisexuals in her life, and you could just tell there was contempt with it. This was somebody who hated a part of herself, and as a result, it just rippled out, and I don't know. It is a huge reason why I don't have any hate or animosity towards her, because I can see the internal struggle. It doesn't make what she did okay, but I can see her running full speed ahead away from the truth and having that rumbling in her gut. Deep down, she knows the truth. I can't imagine living life like that. And it is a huge reason why when I talk about it, it's just from a place of just sadness. Like, you broke my heart, you broke my trust. But also, I hope someday you can accept yourself for who you really are. I've never made this connection until now, and maybe I'm just making a connection in real time, but I would not be surprised if that huge heartbreak contributed to the fact that there was just this like relationship hopping with men. I would get into a relationship with a guy and it would just completely blow up, and I would swear off dating. Even once I was off the dating apps, it was just too easy for men to be sliding in my DMs. And I had this real kind of like reckoning of, how is this happening to me? This person betrays me, breaks my heart. This person betrays me, breaks my heart. Why does this keep happening? And it was this moment of, I have not been single for any substantive amount of time. And in some ways, I have not processed anything from any of those relationships. So no wonder the worst of the worst would get through the filters with each relationship hop. Because now I'm not just running away from a marriage that's ended and a woman who's broken my heart and this guy who, broke my heart twice before I finally said goodbye. We're watching it just compound. And that was the time that I decided I need to completely get out of the dating world. And not just, I'm done with dating. I need to get reintroduced to the very person that I've been kind of ignoring for, at this point, 16 years. I need to take all of this energy that I have been pouring into these people, and I need to bring it back to me. And that is when I decided I am going to do, at minimum, a year of dating myself. When I would talk about all these terrible men that I've dated, and then I'll get that pithy, just date women, which is so frustrating and so invalidating, because I would think, for one, in that list of people who've broken my heart, there is a woman who really betrayed me. So don't tell me to just date women. Like, that's not going to solve things. That's not going to solve those interpersonal wounds that I need to heal, so that my filter is better, that I'm not bringing people into my life who are not going to treat me right. I need to cut off all of that so I can build myself up, because this is a person who, when she's not like in that built up state, will do this is how I'm justifying keeping this person in my life. So that's why it's okay that this person is showing active contempt for actual bisexual women. I can keep her in my life. That's okay that, this particular guy already broke my heart and now he wants to try again, and now he's about to break my heart again. That's okay. The justifications all would boil down to, I didn't innately really think I deserved love, so it's okay that they hurt me. That's the thing that I needed to address, not, I need to stop dating men. I should only be dating women. I needed to date myself. I needed to love myself before somebody else completely broke my spirit. I'm writing out all these potential ideas, where do I want to go on dates? Are there places I want to travel to? Are there events that I would like to attend? Are there classes I want to do? Even just little miscellaneous things like, do I want to buy myself flowers? In the very beginning, that act of going to a restaurant by myself, you might as well have asked me to climb Mount Everest, because, oh my God, I have to sit at it, and not at a bar, not at the bar counter, but at a table by myself and order food scared the crap out of me. And then here I am 6 months later, I'm getting the sole seat in a row of 3 seats in a box seat section for a comedy show, where it is going to be really noticeable that I'm that one little person by himself, and there's the couple right next to me. And I was like, yeah, whatever. That seat was $35, and it would not have been $35 had there been, more next to it. And noticing that I was getting a lot braver, because it was not just, the only person I can rely on is me. It is, I am the partner I can rely on. Taking all of that kind of energy that I used to give to somebody else and to put it towards me, it really changed things. And especially that reframing of, I'm not just, going out to dinner alone. I'm taking me to dinner. I'm going to show her how much I love her. And I'm going to show her how much she is worthy. It'd be those little moments where I was really able to basically fall in love with myself. Here I am telling my partner, hey, you're worthy. And I want to take you for coffee. I want to take you to a musical. I want to take you to your therapy session because I know how important healing is for you. So when it comes to the year of dating myself, I also have what is essentially a solo tour jacket. My friend made me this jacket where she made this really lovely painting on the back of it. And then what we've been doing is I will put down all the dates for all the various dates that I've been having with myself. It's like having a wearable scrapbook and just seeing all the ways that the sleeves are already filling up. It really lets me know how robust the year has been. She didn't play the game, she changed the game. One of my friends wrote that, and another one was, and here's from Megan's, AKA the best turdsicle ever. This one says, fuck the patriarchy. It's very fitting. And then my friend Mason wrote, it's giving goddess. My favorite thing about the year of dating myself has been documenting it, and very quickly this documenting it became something that I could write out in chapter form. And the best part too is that my literary agent had emailed me and said, hey, have you ever given any thought to writing a book about the year of dating yourself? Oh, I've given a lot of thoughts. Ideally, it will be called The Year of Dating Myself. That's how it's being shopped around. It might change depending on who is interested in picking up the book. But my fingers are crossed. The Year of Dating Myself, How Reinvesting in Myself Healed More Than Just My Heartbreak by Abby Rosemarin. Hopefully that will be on shelves, maybe even as soon as next year.